I make fun of poor white people because I was once poor. And I know that the only difference between a poor black person and a poor white person is that a poor white person feels like it's not supposed to be happening to them.
This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. They just murdered Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now. Why do they always come with fucking violence? Gosh damn it. Use your freaking words as they're talking to you people. Who shot Charlie Kirk? I'm driving in a Provo right now. I'm so pissed.
It's over. It passed. And this is what that means for so many Americans. Billions of dollars cut from Medicaid, which affects millions of Americans. The poorest of the poor people in this country are going to lose their health care, be unable to feed themselves, and this is what people wanted. And the richest people in this country will get a tax cut. So if you're not upset, then I'm confused. If this is what you want, I think you need to take a much deeper look at who you are and what you stand for, because this is devastating to so many people in this country. You are often one step away from needing assistance.
Wagwan mi family, welcome back to my YouTube commentary, and I'm sending you love, I send you power, and I send you energy. Thank you so much for tuning in today for my commentary. I hope you are great. I hope you are doing okay. Okay, now as we empower our people across the continent, as we empower our people across the ocean, as we shake the foundation of the system they tried to break us, family, today I'm going to talk about something big. I'm going to talk about something deep, something that has white America restless, something that has white America confused and angry. And the fact that black people are not suffering the way they hoped, it is giving them tension. Right now, the economy is doing zuzuzu. For example, the Europe economy or American economy is doing zuzuzu. And black people are there smiling, dancing, eating. And I think that is somehow the white Americans thought that these problems or sufferings can only hit black people hardest, okay? Because they designed a system with slavery, a system with Jim Crow, a system with redlining, mass incarceration, and economic sabotage to make sure that black people never rise. But what I'm seeing right now is different, okay? They wanted black Americans broken. They wanted them begging. They wanted them dependent. They thought that by now, black people will be erased. By now, black people will be forgotten, will be silent. But what's happening right now is that black people are rising. Black people are thriving. It is true. Just an example of Africa, it's rising. Black people in America are thriving. And that is shaking off the chains they put on us. Okay? Now, before I go down into my commentary I have a lot to say, but I want you to watch these clips first, and then I'll come back with more commentary.
85% of welfare and food stamp moochers are white, live in southern red states, and vote for Republicans.
There are no organizations dedicated to the welfare of rural whites.
How many people have noticed that just about every democratic policy that white conservatives despise, they benefit most from?
So I posted about white folks on food stamps, and one thing I kept seeing was that welfare was created for white people. I knew that it was created during the New Deal, so I did some more research because I didn't really know the whole story, and I thank you guys for responding and helping me learn stuff. So during the Great Depression is when we saw the beginning of things like Social Security, unemployment insurance. But here's the kicker. When Franklin Roosevelt built those programs, he had to make deals with Southern Democrats in Congress, the same folks who were big fans of Jim Crow, to get the support of these racist white Southern politicians. The programs were designed to exclude farm workers, domestic workers, jobs held overwhelmingly by Black, Latino, and Indigenous people. So right from the start, Black and brown families were pushed out of benefits so that white people could get them. Then we move forward to the 1960s, and there's this war on poverty. It finally opened up welfare programs more broadly, and that's when food stamps became permanent. Well, permanent, we don't know what Trump's going to do to them, but they lasted a long time. And guess what? The minute more black and brown families started accessing this help, the politics shifted. Welfare got a new image and a new target. By the 1980s and 90s, with Ronald Reagan and his gang, they pushed the welfare queen myth. That's a racist dog whistle meant to turn public opinion against safety nets by blaming black women for poverty that white policies created. That's the truth, you guys. So yes, welfare was built for white people, and when others finally got in the door, they tried to burn the house down. If you want to blame the right people, you got to get curious.
You want to talk about white privilege? I was born dirt poor. Roaches in our food, mattresses on the floor, eviction notices taped to the doors, kind of poor. My parents, their side hustle was beating me and my siblings bloody. I missed more meals than I can count. When we did eat, it was ramen, canned foods, or whatever we could steal from the gas station. There were 8 of us kids. Don't come at me like I grew up in some quiet backwoods town either. We weren't hearing deer rifles. We were hearing 9mm and Glocks on a nightly basis. Not because we were hunting, because we were dodging stray bullets in the inner city. I had a baby as a teenager, thought maybe I could break the cycle. Went to college, flunked out quick. Life was swinging before I even had a chance to plant my feet. Then the military came knocking, promised me structure, a future, and a way out. What I got? Another flavor of hell. Straight out of basic, they shipped me to Afghanistan. 19 years old, couldn't buy a beer back home, but I could carry a rifle, kick indoors, and watch friends die in pieces. I came home to a wife who had cheated on me while I deployed, ended in divorce, missed my baby's first steps, first words, first everything. I got the title Dad, but only for 2 days every other week when the courts allowed me. So I drank. I numbed it out. I drowned it in alcohol and women. Hopped from job to job, security, government contracts, even worked with the feds for a minute. But it all fell apart. I ended up homeless, ashamed, alone, and broken. Now, I've been sober for 4 years, been through more therapy than most folks can stomach, read hundreds of books, and here's what I figured out. As bad as I have had it, if I was black, I probably wouldn't have survived it. That ain't an opinion, that's truth. Black Americans make up 13% of the population, but 38% of the prison population. 1 in 3 black boys born today, they're expected to end up behind bars. That ain't by accident. That is policy. That's centuries of systemic racism passed off as justice. The 13th Amendment did not abolish slavery, it rebranded it. It says slavery is legal as punishment for a crime. That's why we got corporations making billions off of prison labor, while folks inside earn cents an hour if they're lucky. That clause was written to target black Americans, and it's still doing exactly that. Now I run an organization called West Virginia Fights Back. We feed people, we take care of people. No strings, no red tape, no begging for scraps. We take care of our own because the government won't. My dream? A Fights Back chapter in every damn state. Abolish the prison industrial complex. Burn the cage down. Build something real in its place. Fred Hampton said, you can jail a revolutionary, but you cannot jail the revolution. This is not about shame. This is about responsibility. If you've had the privilege of not being targeted by the system, you've got the duty to help tear it down.
In America, there is a misconception about who is on welfare. Now, let me just say this. There is no one program in the United States that constitutes welfare. There are many social programs in the United States that are part of what the United States calls the social safety net, which is really not much of a safety net at all when you consider the meager benefits that people receive. So, what I've decided to do is look quickly at the statistics from the last census. Now, this holds true going back, but actually in the last 20 years, it has increased. The number of people receiving public benefits of some sort or another has increased amongst one particular demographic, and that is amongst white people. 20 years ago, 61% of all the people receiving public benefits of some kind in the United States were white people. Today, or as of 2022, or as the last census, 76.2% of all the people receiving some form of public benefit were white people. And the rest were people of color, 13%, people of Asian extraction, 6%, give or take, and people of Hispanic, somewhere down in the middle there. So let's just talk about what constitutes public benefits. So I'm going to read this list here, and this is what makes up all of welfare, if you will, in the United States. Medicaid, SNAP, WIC, free or reduced price school meals, SSI, TAANF, energy aid, rental subsidies, unemployment compensation, and assorted other programs. So 40 million people in the United States live in poverty, and that number approximately is the number of people who receive public benefits of some kind. And of course that varies when you include Social Security recipients, Medicare, etc., which is not it's an earned benefit. So I'm going to eliminate that for the moment. So of those people, the number of people receiving public benefits, welfare, if you will, some form of social program, social safety net support, as I said, 76.2% are whites. So I think this is important to remember when people start talking out of their ass.
We talk about how miserable white people are for a second. Like, you know that white people are miserable, right? Like, have you ever looked a white person in the eye, even if they're like a big mental health person? You just look deep down and you're like, brother, you are not happy at all. And truly, it breaks my heart. But one reason, I think, one of the main reasons that a lot of white people, a lot of us are really unhappy and miserable is because we lack internal congruence. Now, congruence is a concept we learned early in grad school to help people heal. And congruence is basically internal alignment. Values and actions are on the same page, right? Like, we accept every part of ourselves. We feel peace, security in who we are, congruence. And no matter how hard you try, you can never find internal congruence if you're not congruent with the world around you. If you're not understanding what's real and seeing reality and affirming what's true. So like white people who deny patriarchy and capitalism's negative effect and oppression of the world and genocide that's happening around the world, like that's incongruent with reality. That is going to have an effect on us internally. Because to deny what's happening in real time, we have to deny certain parts of us, certain emotions, certain thoughts that come up. And the more we run for that, the more incongruent and separate we feel, the more dissonance that comes, the more miserable we are. And a lot of times we're not actually dealing with our own pain and our own reality because we're all suffering under capitalism and white supremacy. Like, it affects us different ways in intersectionality, but like it affects us white people too. You don't think a stormtrooper in the fucking Star Wars movies hates his life? You don't think he hates being bossed around all the time? You don't think poor white people living in the empire, like in a city walls, like in a Game of Thrones, like you don't think that they're miserable under it, even though they're not miserable the most? To be congruent inside, to not be miserable anymore, it takes accepting the realities of the world, seeing how those toxic systems affect us, and then moving to actually be congruent. Because deep down, humanity has goodness at its center. So yeah, white people, we're miserable because we're not congruent, because we're denying the realities of the world, and thus denying ourselves.
Welfare is for citizens, and citizens have always been white. Between 1775 and 1855, the United States government issued over 500,000 land bounty grants. These grants went to people who served in the military, but here's the thing, they were transferable, so you could sell them, and that's what soldiers did. White soldiers, because even though there were black soldiers serving in every war since the Revolutionary War, only white soldiers were eligible for land bounty grants. You can't own property if you are property. Ugh. So the pale privates and Caucasian colonels were eligible to get these land bounty grants, and they would get them from the government, and then they would sell them to somebody else. Oh, did I forget to mention these were big-ass plots? So they could definitely sell like 80 acres and live on the other 20. Or 60 acres and live on the other 40. Never. Welfare is for y'all. It's always been for y'all.
Welcome. From the beginning, the system of white supremacy has depended on the idea of black people must remain silent, black people must remain on the bottom, right? And this is because the entire identity, the entire sense of superiority was built on comparison with black people, okay? If the black man suffers, then the white man feels superior. If the black woman suffers or cries, then the white woman feels powerful. We cannot lie. That is the reality. It has been like that, okay? And when enslaved Africans were chained in America, white slaves owners did not only want free labor, but they wanted to watch black people break, wanted to see black people hopeless. That was their history. That was their agenda. Because if they wanted labor, they could not harm them. They could not whip them, you know? They wanted black people to give their humanity so they could feel divine. And that psychology never left, okay? It never left. Even after segregation ended, it never left. White America still expected black people to remain still underground, to remain in the generational pain, poverty, and trauma. Now, why do you think they built schools that didn't teach black people history? They are pure, they are real history. Why do you think they built prisons instead of opportunities? And these prisons were just holding up black men, black people. Okay, they flooded the black neighborhood with drugs. They destroyed Black Wall Street. They every attempt that black people were making for economic independence, they destroyed it. And they did this because they expected that no matter what, black people will never recover. But you know what? The truth is, not only did black people survive, I'm seeing black Americans rising. I'm seeing African rising. I see Caribbean rising, okay? Now, reality today, it's something else. Black people in America, in Africa, and across the diaspora are innovating, are creating, are leading. You know, I have seen this 100 meters back then. I think it's a world marathon or world athletic. Jamaican being the fastest man too. He won that. The marathon was won by Africans, Kenyans, half marathon Kenyans, 1,500 meters Kenyans, you know. And I know deep down somehow it is paining the system to see that despite of them claiming that Africa is poverty, Africa is poor, they're full of poverty and there's no resources, still we are bringing out our best, winning them on these races, okay? When a black person becomes a billionaire, when a black community creates businesses, when black American begins reconnecting with Africa, when they start investing in the continent, white America doesn't clap. Don't think they're clapping and they're enjoying that. They panic. Why? Because it contradicts the story. They told themselves that black people are destined to suffer forever. And they told themselves that we couldn't achieve anything without them. They told themselves that Africa will remain poor forever. But today, Africa is breaking free from Western control. Black Americans are creating independent wealth. Black people worldwide are reclaiming their identity, and that family is what they cannot accept. Now, economy is bad in America, and we see white people are crying. But you know, black people are like, this is not our fight. Why? Because black people have lived in this. They knew about this. They knew this will come. So psychologically, they were ready to face anything. It's not that black people they have somewhere they are getting good jobs or good Medicaid or what. No. They are living in the same place. But because psychologically black people were ready to handle anything, that's why you see they are not breaking down. White farmers are crying and regretting. Black farmers are quiet. Okay? Now, I'll say this. White America, allow me to use this word hate. White America hates seeing black people laugh. Yeah, I think so. They hate that, you know? Because I see they will stare with anger when they see black people dancing, smiling, celebrating. Because the joy of black people destroy their illusion of superiority. If black people are happy, if we are fulfilled, if we are powerful, then the entire myth of white supremacy collapses. So they need black people to cry. They need black people to suffer so that they can feel chosen. They need black people to fall so that they can feel successful. They need black people to remain traumatized so that they can pretend they are the saviors. They are at the center of every problem. When black people shine, we heal. When we love ourselves loudly, we expose them as fragile. And this is why media always tries to highlight black pain. News channel shows black crime, black poverty, black struggle every day, but they rarely shows the black excellence. They rarely shows black wealth, black unity. Why? Because if the world sees the truth that black people are thriving despite everything, then the white America's biggest lie, it gets exposed. Okay? Now, one thing, we have something we call generation shift. Okay? The younger black generation, or this younger black generation, is refusing to suffer in silence. Gen Z, millennials, are now carrying the same fear that slavery and Jim Crow forced into our grandpas. Instead of shivering, this generation is so bold. We speak up. I see them creating businesses. I see them traveling to across Africa. Black Americans are going to Africa. The youth, the millennium, the Gen Z are going to Africa. They reject the idea of whiteness is the standard. So white America is shocked to see young black people unapologetically wearing natural hair, celebrating melanin, and creating content that dominates the internet. Biggest cultural influencers in the world today are black people. That is reality. And whether it's music, whether it's fashion, whether it's athletic, whether it's art, whether it's slang, everything that defines culture, it's shaped by black people. And this terrifies them because it proves we are not suffering. It proves that we are leading as black people. And family, let's not forget this. The rise of Africa is part of this same story. White power expected the remain of Africans to be poor forever. They expected Africa to be divided forever and dependent forever. They thought colonization destroyed each and every bones of Africans permanently. But look what is happening today. African nations are rejecting France. African nations are rejecting Western exploitation. African nations are demanding sovereignty. A leader like Captain Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso is saying enough is enough. The youth in Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, and across the continent are rising against corruption and Western puppets. Africans are building their own tech industries connecting to black Americans. We are rewriting the story. White America sees this and they are like, wow. They are panicking because if black people in Africa rise and black people in America rise, then their control is gone. And that's why they wanted us suffering. That's why they are angry that we are not suffering. They are angry that the economy is not breaking black people, black Americans. They are angry that the new colonization is not breaking Africans. Now, upon that, we are seeing the system is crumbling. Okay? The economy is falling. Their political system is divided. Their global domination is fading. But what they expected from black people, it's not happening because they expected black people to sync with them, and the opposite is happening because we are using this moment as black people to rise. And this is why you see panic in their faces. Right now, you may see more racism being expressed openly. Even leaders are not afraid. Political leaders in America are not afraid for their racist alteration, just openly. They are banning history books just openly. They are erasing history. DJT will just stand and say that woke history of America. They want to rewrite the history because that is panic. Because if they could not panic, they could leave the book's history. Let kids learn. Let kids know the real history of America. Okay? Right now, you see white supremacy screaming louder than ever. It's not because we are weak. It's because we are strong. They can't believe that after 400 years of trying to destroy black people, they are still here. And not just here, but thriving, smiling, dancing, creating, winning. So, my brothers, the message is this. Don't let them fool you into believing that we are still in the bottom. No. Let not them fool you. Don't let them convince you that we are cursed. Don't let tell you that black people, you are cursed. The truth is they are cursed by their own head. And even their own are saying this. America is cursed. by their own head. But black people are blessed, okay? Black people are blessed by our resilience, our unity, our connection of the Most High. And we are living in a time where their lives are collapsing and our truth is shining brighter than ever. They thought that we will never heal, but here we are building families, reclaiming land, connecting across continents, and restoring pride in blackness. White America cannot believe it, but it's happening, whether they like it or not. Let me tell you something, my good people. Many people don't want to face the reality that for centuries, white America has treated black suffering as entertainment. It is reality, okay? In slavery days, they gathered to watch public whippings. They found joys in the screams of enslaved Africans. It wasn't just cruelty, it was psychological conditioning. They trained themselves to believe that the pain of black people was necessary for their pleasure, okay? Even after slavery, during Jim Crow, they came out in thousands to watch lynchings. They posed for photographs with the hanging bodies of black people, and they collected postcards of unalived black men and women as souvenirs. Is it souvenirs? Souvenirs. And this was not just violence, it was a culture built on enjoying black suffering. Even after slavery, during Jim Crow, it happened too. Now, today, they don't gather under trees for lynchings anymore. But what they do, they gather around television screens, smartphones, and social media, consume the same thing. Are you getting that? How many viral videos do you see of black people being beaten? How many viral videos do you see of black people being unalived, being shot, being harassed by police? Those images are not accidents. Those are modern lynchings, okay? And they all are fed to the public to remind white America of its control. But something has changed. We as black people are no longer accepting it as entertainment. We are flipping the script and we are showing black excellence. We are showing black joy, black travel, black wealth, and black innovations. Now, white America is uncomfortable because their favorite show of black pain is being cancelled. Now, another lie they told themselves is that black family is destroyed beyond repair. They pushed policies that removed fathers from homes. Fathers were being inculcated, you know. So they did this to destabilize communities. They expected that black families would collapse permanently, leaving black people vulnerable. But what's happening is that black men and women are restoring family structures, creating business together, homeschooling children, and raising a generation that refuses to bow. Across Africa and diaspora, you see black families healing, protecting traditions, and teaching children's real history. So this terrifies the white America because they thought they had successfully erased black people as a strong family unit, okay? Instead, they are the ones dealing with collapsing family, drug epidemics, and rising hopelessness in their own community. So the suffering they planned for us, it is cycling back to them, okay? Now, anything I see right now, I see it's like a prophecy fulfilled, because our ancestors spoke about this long time ago, and they said there will come a time when the chains will break, when the oppressed will rise, when the lies will collapse, and that time is now. White America can't believe it because deep down they know it was always prophesied. They thought they could rewrite destiny, rewrite history, but they can't write everything. And that's what I'm talking about today. The suffering of white people, it was prophesied, and they thought that black people will suffer more, but it's not happening, okay? It ain't happening that way. So this means a lot to us black people. It means that we must continue investing in ourselves, invest in Africa, continue uniting across diaspora. We must build our own schools, our own institutions. The future belongs to us if we claim it. And my message to my white American brothers and sisters, I love you all. I love you. We are condemning the system. And this time, the time of black suffering as your entertainment is over. Time of being broken is over. The time of black people being silent is over. So black people right now are not who you thought would be, because we are not destroyed, we are not cast, we are chosen, we are rising. And up to now, I know you understand that. So you must face the truth and accept. The only thing is to accept. If you accept that black people are not less, then everything goes well, okay? So all of us, let's keep fighting, Keep loving yourself. Don't let their disbelief distract you as my African people and my Black American people, my kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean. Tell me what you think on the comment section. Until next episode, peace out.